Well, a rough start to a Monday morning for sure. I guess we need a little more illy coffee to get us going. Uh, so we're starting out today, and we are jumping into a little bit of a topic that's off of our track for looking into the Security Plus domains. So today, we're really going to jump into looking at one of the critical things that's going on right now. The people that are working from home and using Zoom. So Zoom is it's really it's blown up really. So let's jump in to look at some of the things we can do to increase security with Zoom and what makes it tick. What's good about this product? So let's jump into that after our little brief intro. All right, so let's get into this. Let's see what is it that makes Zoom so popular, right? So today we're going to look into the basics of Zoom security. These are the things that I think these top 5 tips are going to make your Zoom conferencing so much more secure, right? So uh, we know it's exploded. There's been an explosion since this pandemic has hit us, and a lot of people are working from home. So there's been rapid growth, right? And the rapid growth has been partially because Zoom is just easy to use. It's a really easy platform to use. It gives you this nice video grid where you can see a lot of your participants. You can set it up to be up to 49 participants showing up on a screen at a time. Incredible. We didn't see that with things like GoToMeeting or WebEx or anything like that. And it's got a little bit of luck. So there's a little bit of luck in this. But what happened? Zoom went from 10 million users in December to over 200 million users in March. And that's daily users, people on the platform each and every day. So it did cause some problems. One of the things that we've seen that's huge, that's really impacting Zoom users a lot, is this thing called Zoom bombing, right? And that's where people that aren't supposed to show up to your meeting show up to your meeting and do crazy things. We've seen things like folks would go into an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting and shout derogatory things and talk about liquor, and they'd go into other meetings that were closed, should have been closed, like school meetings about classrooms and high schools and educational institutions. They'd show up and just try to ruin the meeting. And really on places like 4chan and things like that, there's people that will set up Zoom bombing. So maybe you're a high school student that doesn't want to attend class that day. You can go to like one of these places like 4chan and post your meeting link to that channel, and folks will come and kind of make it so the meeting can't happen, right? They will throw derogatory terms in, maybe curse words, all kind of stuff, just to derail the meeting or get it to stop from happening, right? So what we really want to do is we want to protect from that, right? So these are my 5 basic tips for Zoom security. And obviously there's a ton other things we can do. Zoom is not the most locked down system. So it's not going to be the system you want to use if, say, you're hosting, Department of Defense secrets or trade secrets or secrets about your company. You probably don't want to do that because the way that Zoom is set up, it'll tell you stuff like it has encryption. It does have encryption. So it has encryption from your browser or your user's browser to Zoom headquarters, and then it's decrypted there. And that has to happen because of the technology to put all the pictures up on a screen and to do the things that Zoom does. It has to be decrypted at Zoom, and then it can get re-encrypted and sent back to the other side. So it's sent to the users or sent to you. So it's important that we know that there are 5 basic tips that can secure Zoom more than it is out of the box. But it's not going to be perfect, right? It's not going to be locked down to where you maybe want to put your company secrets there, or national secrets. So we don't want to put government secrets there. So let's jump in. Let's take a look at how to set this up, right? So if we go into Zoom, let's get that off the screen right now, and we're going to set up a meeting. So if we go in and we're going to use these 5 principles to set up a meeting. So we schedule our meeting, and we want to change the name to whatever the meeting's going to be. That makes sense. Set our date and time, how long it's going to last from and to. And remember that the private account is going to give you about 40 minutes of time. The first paid account level, will give you like 24 hours of recording time. Educators, if you're like a school, working for a school or something like that, they've got a deal now where you can get the pro version for free. So things we want to do, if we look back at our list here, right, we want to have set and use a complex meeting password. We want to enable the waiting room. We want to allow join from browser, and we want to lock the meeting. And then finally, we want to automatically record the meeting. And most of this we can do right from this initial Zoom screen, right? First thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we're using the automatically generated meeting ID. And you'll see on the screen, my personal ID is there. That's not by mistake. As soon as this meeting is over, I'm going to go in and change that. So don't fret there. The next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to require a meeting password. And by default, if you don't go in and change any of the admin settings, it's going to be this 6-character numeric password. Well, we can always go in and change that. And what we want to change it to is a strong password. It can be 10 characters, and it can be uppercase letters, lowercase letters, numbers, and special characters. And that's what we want to do. I'll make a random one. So now it's random. Maybe we need a special character in there. So let's just, it's not going to let me put special characters in. I've got to go to the admin center and set that, I guess. So we'll just use some uppercase characters in there. Yeah, it's not. There we go. Okay. They're in there. I don't know why some of it's just not letting me put some of them in there. Thought it was all set up. So we want it to be 10 characters long. We want it to be uppercase, lowercase, numeric, and special character. That's going to make it more secure. The other things, do you want your participants and the host to have their videos on? Most of the time you are, and that's not really a security setting. We will join from telephone and computer. I normally do that. Again, not a security setting, but we want to go down into the advanced options here. We want to enable the waiting room, and that's important because when we do this, that means that the people that join the meeting don't just jump into the meeting. They go into a special contained area, and the host of the meeting has to look at them and say, are they supposed to be there? And if they're supposed to be there, then the host can allow them into the meeting. And this helps reduce that Zoom bombing, because when people get that passcode, they're not going to get right into the meeting. So when they join the meeting, they'll be put into this waiting room, and then the host will allow those people that they know are supposed to be there. So if it's a classroom and you have 10 students and you know them by name, you'll see them, you'll allow them in. If that weird person comes in from 4chan or something like that, you can just not allow them in, right? Mute participants in entry, that makes sense. You just want to not have people coming in with their audio crazy loud and dogs barking in the background and stuff. The user can unmute themselves from their end as well. I recommend, also one of my tips is to automatically record the meeting. That's locally or in the cloud, because now it is a federal offense to do this Zoom bombing. What you want to do is have some kind of proof after the fact. If somebody does get by all these security measures and they get into your meeting still, you'll have some kind of proof to turn over to law enforcement folks if you need to. So automatically record it, store it locally. If you don't need it, delete it, get rid of it. Or you can, if you have the ability, you can also store it in the cloud. You may wonder about this only authenticated users can join. That's good, but right now it's set up to require those folks to have a Zoom account. And I don't know that you want all of your users to have to go in and get a Zoom account. I don't know that that's the right thing to do. So it would be nice, and I haven't seen how to do it, if it could authenticate with like Facebook or another service, Google or something like that. Right now, it doesn't. Right, and the only thing we really left off is the ability to join from a browser. And joining from a browser is really for your end users to help them out. So when we join from a browser, that's actually in the web settings, right? And we go into the web settings. We want to, here's where we can enable the waiting room. And if you have the paid account, you can have a customized waiting room with your logo and everything on it. So you can have all participants go into the waiting room, or you can have guest participants only. I say, throw all of your participants in the waiting room. That way you have control over bringing people into the meeting. And then the other one is show join from your browser link. I like to turn this on because from the other side, when you're joining a Zoom meeting, you may not want to install the application, right? That's going to be another thing you have to manage, that you have to take care of on your side. So, and some people just don't want to create a Zoom account. So this allows people to join from their browser without creating a Zoom account, without creating the Zoom app or downloading and installing the Zoom app. And I think it's more security for your end users. It really doesn't do anything for you. And the last thing, the bonus thing that's on our list for today, is make sure that you're keeping the Zoom application, if you've got it, updated, right? The thing about Zoom is when it was released, it went from a small user base to this giant user base, and security was kind of lacking. It was kind of behind on security. So they have made strides, they being Zoom, have made strides to increase the security, and they keep adding security. So they're not adding any more features to Zoom. What they're doing is spending this time making it more secure. So you're going to want to make sure, like any other application, you keep it updated. All you have to do is click your profile in the top. If we were scheduling this, we'd hit schedule. I'm just going to cancel this. But you want to make sure that you're keeping your application up to date, right? So we go into your profile at the top up here on the top right, check for updates, and just make sure you're up to date, right? If there's a new update, install it and get back to work, right? So that's the rundown. That's the quick and dirty of Zoom security. If you do those 5, I guess we got a bonus because you do want to keep all your applications updated. So we did get a bonus. Do those 5 things. Make sure that you're secure in the way you're doing your Zoom meetings, and it'll be a great tool. Again, like anything else, there's a balance of security and usability. So we can make it secure, and we can have it usable. It's a very usable tool. A ton of people are using it all over the place right now. So let's just be smart when we do it and do these 5 or 6 really easy things, and it'll work out for us. So as always, I'm Jim with your morning cup of cyber. A little bit of a rough Monday start, but that's okay. Guys, be safe out there, and we'll see you next time.